welcome back to Montgomery Maker. Today we're going to be taking a break from the boat build, and instead we're going to be building a winch for this little trailer right here. First, let me talk about this trailer. Built it a few years ago. It had a little winch on it. It was mounted up here like that. It just looked real bad, so we're making it again. But let's check out what it has. Got little tow chains right here, full fenders, both sides. Took these tires off a little, I think it was a New Bright monster truck. Got a nice little dovetail back here. Fold down ramps to make it easier for these rustlers to get on here, which is what I originally made it for. I made it to hold these two rustlers right here. But now that I got this Traxxas Slayer, it also works for it. So that's pretty cool. Anyways, it's got these fold down flaps, diamond tread all the way throughout where the tires would be sitting. If you can see underneath here, it's got a battery tray right here. This is made to hold one of these little 9.6 volt batteries from just, you know, those old RC cars, little entry level ones. So that's pretty cool. It's enough to, and this is the motor that I've been using. I'm not sure quite the model number or name or anything like that. I just know it is a very torquey motor. And this is the motor I'll be using for the winch we're building today. It's got this little tie down right here. It keeps this one from moving around when it's hauling. Now I made this trailer be pulled around by my Summit, but since then I've got this Revo over here, and it's gonna end up being the one that pulls it around. Made this little hitch for it. You can see that. Just bolts in right in here. So I think that's pretty cool. And I'll be doing running videos of this trailer and all my other stuff, like my Summit. Gonna do some rock crawling videos with it. Some trailing. As you can see, I'll be running these a lot. I've done the Jado wide mod for it, where you take the A-arms from Jado's and you just kind of put it all the way around. It makes this thing handle way better. Replaced the servo on here. I'm still doing some work on here. I had a cracked gas tank. Don't know how that happened, but just noticed it was leaking one day, and that just happened, I guess. And this one over here, pretty much everything's correct on it. Gotta put the receiver back on it. I just finished tearing this one down and rebuilding it, putting this new 2.5R engine on it. I have one of those on each of them. And let me tell you, this little thing makes a lot of difference. I don't know if you can see this, but after like a couple runs, these tires are bald with this little engine right here. Well, I think to get started, I'm going to go out to my milling machine and start up on milling a little spool that'll go on the end of this out of an aluminum rod about 1/2 inch thick. So let's head out to the milling machine. Well, I got my milling machine set up with this little camera holder so you guys can see what I'm doing. Start off with, I'm going to be drilling a hole straight through the center of this little bar of aluminum. I'm going to drill where I think my spool is going to end up being. I'm going to do that with this little tailstock over here. This allows you to bring in the drill bit that is stationary to the piece of whatever you're milling that is moving. This allows you to better center your holes than if you were using a drill press like this and you're holding it with a little vise. So this is what I like to do. Well, let's get started. Well, now that I got this little hole drilled out, I'm going to take this drill bit off and start milling down how I want the spool to look. So, I'm going to go ahead and take this off. All you do to take one of these off is just run it back until it pops out like that. You just pull it out. And I put it down here in my little tray. So let's go ahead and start milling down the spool. Well, here it is. This is the rough look of what the spool is going to look like. Off camera, I'm going to go ahead and polish this up with some fine grit sandpaper. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut it off this rod here. Let me get that done, and I'll see you when I get back. Now, I went ahead and polished this up like I said I would off camera, but I also did a few more things. I added this string right here and tied this little hook I found off a little crane on it. It'll work for now. I'll find something better, but it'll work. I drilled this hole right here. This will be what pins it into the shaft. The shaft that I'm talking about is over here. The part that will actually go on the motor. See how it's got a little hole right here? I'm going to use one of these I'm going to use this pin right here. It's a little body pin that I've cut down, and it fits perfectly in the hole and locks this in place. I did this so I can have the possibility of doing a free spool. That's where you can just pull it out without having to work at the pace of the motor. It'll make it much easier to extend the line. And it goes on something like this. Let me see if I can hold the camera with one hand and do this. Push it on here. And you put this pin in like this. Slides right in. Click it back. And now it is tied to the motor. Now that I got this part of the winch done, I think it's time to start making the mount for the winch. Now, as I've been making this, I've been thinking, I'm probably going to end up putting this on my Summit. So, I'm going to build two different kinds of mount. Or make it where it can mount on both. So, I'm going to make it mount on the front here, front of the trailer, and the front of my Summit. Hadn't quite figured out how I'm going to do that. I think I'm just going to have one central mounting platform, and that's where the motor would be up here. And then I'm going to just make two spots where the fair lead can sit. One on top, so if it's sitting like this on the front of the Summit, it can still pull straight into the winch. Or one on the side, so if it's sitting flat on the front of the trailer, it can still pull straight. I think that's probably how I'm going to do it. So let me get off the camera here and I'll go get the supplies I need. Well, now that I got all my tools and materials gathered up, it's time to start building the winch. Well, here it is. Off camera, I'm going to make some panels for the sides here. That's why I got all these holes drilled. I'm going to go ahead and make the roller fair lead too. But yeah, here it is. let me go get that done and I'll show you the finished product. Okay, let me show you what I've done off camera. Now I actually ended up making another one of these boxes. As you can see, there's the old one you saw me make. I did that because I really didn't like the look of it. Things weren't lining up right. I think that has to do with the marking the Sharpie. You got to figure out which side of the line you're marking on and other stuff like that. So for this one, I ended up spraying my whole piece of metal with this Toolmaker's ink. Basically what that is spray paint that can easily be scratched off or washed off. What this allows you to do, here's just a little extra piece of it that I had. You can scratch it to make your marks. Watch. Let's see if I can do this. See how you can scratch it? Real fine line so you know exactly where to cut. I think that's what helped this one to line up a lot better. And then I made these two side plates right here just to give it a little more strength, keep it from flexing. And then in the middle here, I have my full fault roller fair lead. What these are just little tubes, little aluminum tubes. Yeah, very small in diameter. And then I just press some rod through them, so it makes a little roller. I think it turned out really good. It's real strong. It doesn't break when you pull on it, and that'll hopefully keep this string from getting all cut up. So all that's left to do is disassemble it, clean all this ink off, and then paint it. I think I'm gonna paint it the same color as my trailer, which is hammered bronze. I think it'll look really good. I'm gonna paint up after I mask it off, I'm gonna paint up the motor to look maybe a little different color. But I'm trying to use paint that's really strong, so if I do use this on my Summit, it doesn't get scratched up on the first time going on a trail. So let me get this disassembled and then I'll go paint it, and then you guys can see the finished product. Well, here it is. I got it all painted up. As you can see, I went with the same bronze color that's on my trailer in there. Got my mounting hardware all set up right here. The reason I have it in this configuration is this allows me to still mount it to the front of my Summit, which you should see in my next video. Went ahead and put some leads on it so we can test it working right now. In order to do that, got myself a little 9-volt right here. This will work for just showing. See if I can do this with one hand. Here, let me set the camera down real quick. Okay, I got it set up. Just kind of tap right there, and you can see it's pulling in the line. Stop before it goes too far. But yeah, here it is. I tested the strength. It's pretty good. I mean, for a homemade winch, it's really good. And I think it turned out looking real good. This is the full roller fair lead right here. But yeah, my next video, I'm probably going to be wiring this up to my Summit. In order to control it, I'm probably going to use the actual Summit remote, the Traxxas remote. I think I have a way for that to work, because I tried this with the RC 4-wheel drive worn winch controller, and that doesn't work. It must have to sense that it's working an actual winch, like the RC 4-wheel drive winch. And I may or may not still use these leads, I don't know. But here it is. Thanks for watching, and I want to say sorry for not posting a video in a while, and sorry for doing so much of this off camera. But with all the finals and stuff going on at my school, I didn't really have a whole lot of time to make this, much less set up cameras and stuff. Had to study and get ready for finals, which are over now, so I should be making more frequent videos. So, thanks for watching. See you next time. Well, thanks for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe.
That's all, folks.